Before this area was officially incorporated as Piedmont, a name meaning foot of the hills, on Wednesday, December 12th, 1888, it was known by several names throughout the 19th century. These names appear in maps, post office records, railroad documents, and historical accounts, and reflect the area's evolving identity. Ladaga was named for Chief Ladaga, also known as Ladagi, a Muskogee Creek leader who owned land in the area following the Treaty of Cusseta in 1832. Located approximately 2.5 miles northeast of present-day Piedmont, along today's Highway 278 East, Ladaga was a small community on the banks of Terrapin Creek during the 1830s. The Ladaga Post Office was established on March 23, 1837. During the Civil War, Ladaga was the site of a cavalry skirmish on October 28, 1864, in which Confederate forces under Brigadier General Samuel W. Ferguson repelled Union troops commanded by Brigadier General Hugh Judson Kilpatrick. In the 1840s, present-day Piedmont was known as Hollow Stump Crossroads, named for a hollow sycamore stump that stood near what is now the downtown Gazebo Mini Park at the northeast corner of North Center Avenue and East Ladaga Street. Inside the stump was a wooden box that served as an informal post office for both white settlers and American Indians. This location marked the intersection of ancient Cherokee and Creek Indian trails that later became two important post roads for westward moving settlers and stagecoach lines, the Rome and Wetumpka Road, now Ladaga Street, and the Center and Chocolaco Road, now Center Avenue. The crossroads quickly became a focal point for travel, communication, and early settlement in the Coosa Valley. Among the earliest white settlers were James William Price, his wife Sarah Shields, and their sons Campbell and James H., who arrived from Tennessee in 1844. Price owned a farm known as the Box Place near present-day downtown Piedmont, and operated an inn and stables near the crossroads, serving travelers moving between White Plains, Cherokee County, Rome, and Jacksonville. Because of its strategic commercial value, the Price property became the subject of an 1852 Alabama Supreme Court case, Bryant versus Young, Hall, and others, involving allegations of illegal actions and coercion in an attempt to acquire the land at Cross Plains in Benton County. In February 1848, Jacob Forney Daly settled at Hollow Stump, building a log cabin near the intersection of present-day North Center Avenue and East Ladaga Street. He established the area's first general store near the crossroads. In 1859, Daly built one of the community's earliest permanent homes on the southeast corner of North Center Avenue and Southern Boulevard, south of the Southern Depot. He also donated land for Cross Plains Cemetery on North Church Street and played a key role in the development and incorporation of Piedmont on December 12, 1888. Daly constructed the Episcopal Church on West Ladaga Street in 1884, and in 1880 built a home as a wedding gift for his daughter Mary Catherine, who married Alexander McAllister, mayor of Piedmont from 1890 to 1891. This residence later became known as the Roberts Home, which was relocated and preserved in 2017 as the Roberts Home Museum Hotel. Gilbert Christian Craig and his wife Eliza Swan Craig moved from Tennessee to the area in the 1830s, when few white settlers lived among the Cherokee. Their son, John Craig, born in 1836, later served as a Confederate soldier during the Civil War. He built his home on the hill where Francis E. Willard School now stands. John Craig and his wife, Sarah Cornelia Ferguson, had 4 daughters: Mary Alice, a Piedmont educator; Bertie, a talented painter; Minnie, a skilled violinist; and Betty. Another early settler, Joel Neighbors, was born in Shelby County, Alabama on June 10, 1822. He arrived in Calhoun County in 1835 with his father to settle a farm among the Cherokee and Creek people who had not yet been removed west of the Mississippi River. George Washington Morgan, originally from New York, and his wife, Frances Irby of Virginia, settled in Benton County in 1833 and opened a store approximately 2 miles northeast of the crossroads. One of their children, John Tyler Morgan, born in 1824, later became a Confederate soldier, lawyer, orator, and long-serving United States Senator from Alabama from 1876 to 1907. Morgan was also a prominent advocate of white supremacy and segregation and served as a leader within the Ku Klux Klan. He was a childhood friend of Joel Neighbors. Another name associated with the area was Griffin's Creek. A post office by that name was established on February 26, 1842, with Reverend Horatio Griffin, who also served as Justice of the Peace and Postmaster. Griffin's Creek may have referred to what is now known as Mills Creek or Nancy's Creek. The name Griffin's Mill was proposed in 1851, and some historical maps and writings identify Griffin's Creek as a name for the nearby community of Pleasant Gap along the Selma, Rome, and Dalton Railroad. Because Hollis Stump marked the crossroads of the Rome and Wetumpka Road and the Center and Choccolocco Road in the Coosa Valley Plains, the small settlement of a few families adopted the name Cross Plains in 1851, choosing it over the earlier name Griffin's Creek. The Cross Plains Post Office was established on September 22, 1851, with Major Jacob Forney Daly appointed as the town's first postmaster. Cross Plains was incorporated on March 10, 1871, and reincorporated on May 15, 1882. By 1879, the town had approximately 200 residents and a thriving commercial district that included 8 general stores, a drugstore, 2 saloons, a wagon and buggy shop, 2 churches, Methodist and Baptist, and 2 schools, Cross Plains Academy and Cross Plains Institute. The arrival of the Selma, Rome, and Dalton Railroad further strengthened the town's economy and connectivity. By 1884, Cross Plains had expanded to include an additional general store, 2 flour and grist mills, a steam sawmill and planing mill, and service from the East and West Railroad, solidifying its role as a regional center for trade and transportation. Mayors of Cross Plains included Jacob Forney Daly, 1871 to 1874, John Nathaniel Hood, 1874 to 1882, J. A. Wolfe, 1882 to 1883, Joseph H. Hall, 1883 to 1884, S. D. McClellan, 1885 to 1887, and J. W. Harris, 1887 to 1888. The name Cross Plains was adopted to reflect the settlement's location at the crossroads of major travel routes across the Coosa Valley Plains. The Cross Plains Post Office was established on June 19, 1851, with Major Jacob Forney Daly as postmaster. The post office was discontinued on August 10, 1869, and reestablished on October 21, 1869. Cross Plains was incorporated on March 10, 1871, and reincorporated on May 15, 1882, with a population of approximately 200 residents during its early years. In 1870, during a period of railroad expansion, part of the community west of present-day Alabama Highway 21, near what is now the Chief Ledyga Trail, was briefly known as Petona, named in honor of William Peyton, a director of the Selma, Rome, and Dalton Railroad Company, which was developing a railroad maintenance facility and associated town site with a post office. In 1870, a 100-acre tract west of Cross Plains was developed by the Selma, Rome, and Dalton Railroad Company as a proposed railroad maintenance facility and town site. This area was briefly known as Petona, named for William Peyton, a director of the railroad company. Petona served as the temporary official post office from May 4th to June 7th, 1870, with Captain E. G. Barney as postmaster, before postal operations were returned to Cross Plains. During this period, William Luke, a Canadian educator and instructor affiliated with Talladega College, was employed to operate a freedmen's school in Petona. The school and broader effort to educate formerly enslaved people ended tragically on July 11, 1870, when a Ku Klux Klan mob murdered William Luke and 2 black men and wounded 2 others in Cross Plains. This act of racial violence remains a dark and painful chapter in the community's history.